Welcome back to another part of this F1 25 My Team Career Mode. This is part number 46 today for the Qatar Grand Prix in Season 3. But this is no ordinary episode of this series, because going into this race weekend, we can, for the first time, seal out not only the Drivers' World Championship, but also the Constructors' World Championship. And what timing to do it as we cross over for the first time to fan rating 7, and we're now kind of officially, according to the fan rating, a part of the top echelon, top cream of the crop group in Formula 1 as we lead both championships. And after last episode, we actually once again made it a 1-2 in the standings. We had a few rocky races in the European portion of the season with Ollie Behrman, but recently we managed to drag it back. And if you look at the start of the season, where, remember, we won 5 races in a row, I think it's actually quite fair and fitting that we managed to get Behrman back to second place. But this is hopefully just going to be a formality of crowning Tim Tramnitz the champion, but it should have happened a bit earlier. But we had a very chaotic Las Vegas Grand Prix, including a lap 1 crash with Verstappen driving as Behrman. Then it looked like it was all sorted for Tramnitz, because there was an engine failure for, at the time, the nearest man to him in the championship was actually Alexander Albon, the Ferrari. He had an engine failure, and at that point I thought it was signed, sealed and delivered. And, well, Tramnitz himself, as an AI driver, had other ideas, as there was a second last lap crash into the wall. I actually am still in disbelief at what we saw in front of our eyes there in Las Vegas, but what happened, and it means now it goes to Qatar, which, I said it was quite fitting that Tramnitz could have won his championship as an AI, but equally now, it's kind of fitting that we can be the ones to drive as him to take it over the line, and whilst we do it, get ourselves the Constructors' Championship. So, in an odd way, it's actually even more fitting, in a sense, here at Qatar, to be able to do both championships in one go, and wrap up the season one race early. And going into this maybe history-defining race weekend for Aarava Archer Racing on F1 25, this is how the car is looking, back to its normal base configuration with the white, the fluoro, and the black. Of course, last episode we had a special chrome livery for Las Vegas under the floodlight, but we're now back to our normal configuration with a little few changes to some of the secondary sponsors. You can see we've now got AVAX still on the side of the chassis, just a little bit changed up with the sizing of that, as that was a little bit of a secondary story I was playing into the chrome livery of AVAX wanting a lot more prominence on the car. And we've also got a few variants for other logos, and you'll notice I've actually swapped in AVAX to a few other spots. We actually unlocked some new spots on the car on the front wing at the very front of the nose with fan rating 7, as always, the decal editor allows us to evolve the livery just like they do in real life by swapping out sponsors as the season goes on. Certain sponsors for certain territories, or they come in a bit later into the season and pay more money to then get on the car. So it's always been quite fun to be able to evolve that livery throughout this entire process. But this is the R&D chart then. Of course, we kind of already knew how things were looking at the sharp end, but just confirmation that Audi are still making some upgrades after that massive leap into the Italian Grand Prix. So we are going to end the season probably with a field as close as it ever has been, which is quite promising. And maybe also a little bit worrying for what could happen into Season 4, because we've yet to be told about a regulation change. So if there isn't one, we could have a very competitive, start for the next season. And if there is a regulation change this late on, that's going to be some massive disruption for the entire grid, for this entire pecking order. But that will come in 2 videos' time in this series. Right now, we look towards this Qatar Grand Prix, and as ever, swapping over every other race with each driver, and very nicely it is now time to swap over to the champion-to-be Tim Tramnitz for this Qatar GP.
Today is all about the rhythm, all about the flow, because it's qualifying in Qatar. We're under the floodlights for a high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow. Wherever you are in the world, you're very welcome.
Yes, of course. It's a sprint weekend, remember, for the Qatar Grand Prix. So actually, we could crown Tramnitz the champion after the sprint, which is a little bit odd, to think about, but that's obviously always a possibility and scenario now in Formula One, ever since they brought in the sprint races that do score championship standing points. So, a race is a race in my mind, though, so it won't matter. And if anything, the sprint race will give us a really good chance to maybe seal this championship out with a bang, because this car in this season has been very, iffy on its tyres, let's say. So the sprint could just allow us to bang in qualifying laps and try and seal this off with maybe a cheeky victory even, as we do set a blistering time on the medium, just like in real life we saw, around Qatar. Because of the nature of the circuit, the heat as well, I think the medium actually performed better for us. It is definitely performing better for us, because this is my second flyer in sprint quali, and even with taking a fair bit of curb and more there in the last sector, we only narrowly are going to go better than that first flying lap. So the mediums were actually really solid, but that is going to be the sprint pole for Tim Tramnitz going into a race that could get him the World Championship. Behrman P6. It was a bit of a topsy-turvy qualifying with Sonoda on the front row alongside us in the Williams, for goodness sake. And there are some very questionable time gaps going on. But this really does feel like it is meant to be, and the stars are aligning, especially after a very difficult race for the German, having crashed out in Vegas. We're bouncing back in the best way possible as we go towards the grid. What might be the most important race in this young German driver's racing career.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Tim Tramnitz lines up on pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Piastri, Sainz, Esteban Ocon, and Behrman, Leclerc, Verstappen, Stroll, and Lando Norris, Aaron, Albon, Liam Lawson, and Colapinto, Gasly, Pepe Marti, Jack Doohan, and Isaac Hadjar, Maloney, Antonelli, Hulkenberg, and Gabriel Bortoletto completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say that we're joined today by Anthony Davidson. So, a sprint race today, and that means lights to flag, no stops. And how is that going to affect the driver behind the wheel?
Absolutely. So for today, there's no pit stop, or shouldn't be a pit stop anyway, if things go right, and you can forget about strategy. You're just driving today as fast as you can, make those overtakes if you need to, and that's what a sprint weekend's all about.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Mark with some encouraging words there, because we do know what Tramnitz can do as an AI, not even whilst I'm driving as him. He's pulled out some insane performances as an AI. He deserves to be up here, and now it's down to me to bring this home for him, hopefully, in this sprint race. But, this has got me thinking back to the history, the lore of how we've got here, ever since that very first episode where we first signed Tramnitz as a complete unknown. First time we have some F3 drivers in the game, and I'm going to go for Tim Tramnitz, the German driver, 62 rated, so one of the higher rated F3 drivers. I'm looking at that pace there, nearly 70 pace. I think out and out speed is going to be very useful as a second driver. So out of the bunch, I feel good about picking Tim. We try and maybe secure our first points of the season, nay, of of the team's existence. And, you know, a lot of the times you forget about the junior driver you sign at the very start of my team. So maybe in another sense, it's kind of nice for the F3 driver, Tim Tramnitz, to get a bit of the spotlight today as we try and secure this team's first ever points. You guys, just like me, we've all really grown attached a little bit to Tim Tramnitz. He's been, I mean, what a man. I mean, we've scored so well with him. He's actually had some great performances as an AI as well. So I was ready to send him a contract.
It looks like a mechanical failure. We're going to have to ask you to find a safe spot to retire.
Oh my God, no! The worst possible way to start a season and end the first round. And it's an amazing P5 for us driving as Tramnitz. What a way to make up for the engine failure. We come through the final couple of corners here in Vegas. Absolutely no grip on offer as we try and get the power down. Hamilton coming at us, but we're going to hold. We're going to hold, and we're going to hold on for dear life to come across the line. P1. It's our second win of the season, the second win of this team's history, and this is a first win for F3 driver icon Tim Tramnitz. One only possible logical choice, and that is for a third season we are going to sign Tim Tramnitz. And the lore, the world building, the history building with this team on F1 25 continues with our German rocket ship F3 driver icon. And again, at Silverstone we seal the deal in person, got it over the line, and we're going to continue this entire journey together for a third season. The gloves are already off as we go down the inside to try and repass Behrman for P1. It's going to be so close on the left-hand side. Finally going to be the top step in Season 3 for our German Tim Tramnitz. Let's go. Come on, back-to-back wins. Can now re-engage in this fight with confidence as we go to the right. Tramnitz squeezes us. He hardly gives us any room to work with, as it was all a little bit too close for comfort. In a straight line, I use a bit of battery to try and defend, but it's no use. He's got the overtake done. Tramnitz a bit slow in the last sector, opens up the door to maybe get the overtake done before the last lap as we lose the back end and we put a tyre into the gravel. Oh, we just can't get it. We can't get the overtake. My tyres are too worn. I couldn't even make the dive bomb that we did on lap 32. That was it, maybe. Lap 32, that moment there would have been it. We're going to have to accept second place, but we have to be very happy with a 1-2. It's our second 1-2 of this season, and we have to cherish these moments. We have to cherish these moments because there is no guarantee that this continues later on in this season. So we have to remember these days. And though is going to win back-to-back races in this season for Mercedes. It's the same for 1-2 as it was last race, but this time I'm not driving as Tramnitz. Massively impressive drive from the German. To turn one. Oh, Zane Maloney has come across us and we're on the grass. Oh, it's an absolute disaster. As we go for the textbook switchback from right to left, you know, on power early, and then we get the run on Colapinto as well as we're gaining. Franco is going to squeeze us towards the grass, and we go for the kamikaze launch down the as we continue now on lap 8, looking to come in, but there's a puncher on the rear left. Puncher gate again from Silverstone to Monza, and we're flying towards Parabolica at max speed. We've spun the car, we've kept it up the wall, but it's an absolute calamity. Please don't beach. Please don't beach, because I've seen it before. I always say, guys, in Formula 1, never say never. You just never know what can happen. Yellow flags into turn 1. Oh, the Ferrari's off. Alexander Albon, the nearest man to us in the championship, is in the gravel, and the safety car's out.
Watch your delta. Make sure you
Yes. You can see everyone ahead of me is now pitting. We've stayed out. We're going to take the lead with only a couple of laps to go. Verstappen's going to fly by. We were within DRS before, but now is the time as we go to the left, to the right. right now. Verstappen defensive, but we've got the DRS. We've saved so much battery now to defend as we run towards Parabolica. I can't believe I'm saying this, but as we defend Verstappen to the inside with everything we've got, Verstappen on the outside, we come back through. It's a bit of a slip and slide as the oversteer kicks in. I can't believe I'm saying this. We're gonna win. We're gonna win the Italian Grand Prix. Oh my days. From last place. Ahead, there's an engine failure. Who is it? It's Albon. It's Albon. I can't believe it. 2 race weekends in a row, the Ferrari engine goes up in smokes. And that is the final nail in the coffin, surely. This has got to mean we can open up the balloons, pop the party poppers early. Tim Tramnitz is surely well on his way now to becoming the new Drivers' World Champion in Formula One. Oh no! What? No! What has happened? Tim Tramnitz is out. The championship will go on to Qatar because, oh my God, he's just driven into the wall. What's happened there, Tramnitz? Oh, the pressure. Oh, the pressure. Our F3 icon driver, the pressure's got to him clearly. Oh, fella, you're going to have to dust yourself off and pick yourself up for next race. Because the championship, because of that crash, the championship goes on to Qatar. It's been a real journey, hasn't it then? That actually just shows it. Watching back, looking back at those episodes, the little highlights that I can pick out from the 3-season journey. And it all comes to this then. One race in between ourselves, Tramnitz, and the Drivers' World Championship. Let's go make history as we go to 5 red lights. The sprint race here in Qatar is underway from the front row. Myself and Tsunoda, we're both on medium tyres, the rest on softs, and Piastri on that soft compound will come knocking on the door. We're defensive to the inside of turn 1, and Tsunoda actually tries to claw his way back, and Piastri does get the move eventually, but it does just slow up Piastri just a little bit to give ourselves some breathing room as it's Ocon versus Leclerc. Behrman P7 in behind, watching that fight as the Ferrari gets ahead for P5. Verstappen down in P10. Norris as well, P11. Albon P14, for goodness sake. So some big names in big teams out of place in the sprint. It really was a chaotic sprint quali, and then obviously a few penalties I think also coming into the factor as Piastri now is going to come through with the DRS on lap 2. On the outside the Red Bull goes. We're going to have to get the elbows out, and we do successfully defend for now. But how long can we keep the Red Bull at bay? Ollie Behrman, he's actually on the move. He's made the overtake on Leclerc. Really nice overtake, actually, on the inside. So is that Behrman showing the car actually has some decent pace? I mean, it always has gone well around Qatar, the My Team car in the F1 game, as there he goes with the move on the outside. Leclerc comes back at him, so he actually had to commit because he's actually been re-overtaken at this point, commits to the inside and gets the move. Wonderful stuff from Ollie Behrman, who is now 99 focus, remember, after the great races we've had with him recently. So he's back to his best, it seems, as an AI driver as we try and break the toe from Piastri. Sainz now also a problem as well. Mercedes and Red Bull either side of us. We defend to the middle of the track, basically. Very awkward to know where to go, but the middle was the place to be, as Sainz and Piastri both had to just back out of that because there was no room to work with. But now we are going to have an issue because Carlos Sainz is very, very close, looking very, very punchy. And despite us deploying battery down to like 7%, the Mercedes flies by with the DRS. But look at the mini-map. There's a massive gap to the cars behind because this was a little, rewind back to the end of that previous lap before Sainz overtook us. Look at Piastri. He's really slow. I think he's got a car issue, so he's actually slowed up the entire group behind in sector 2, allowing myself and Sainz to be all alone. But this is now on board with Ollie Behrman. Sonoda going for the move. Ocon as well. Piastri gets overtaken by 3 cars. Behrman now up to P5, looking to go on the outside of Sonoda. Is he going to make it? Oh, he keeps his foot in. Committed. He does. He gets the overtake. In the same way he got Leclerc, Behrman is committed to that inside one, and he gets it again. Behrman really is performing at his best once again, and on lap 4 to 5, he's going to go on to overtake Ocon for 3rd place. So clearly the car itself is working very well around Qatar, which is amazing for us, which is great in a race weekend where we're trying to seal out both championships, as there are a few retirements in this race. Hulkenberg, Hadjar, as we close back up to Sainz with DRS and make the move for P1 in this sprint. We kept it calm. We didn't panic once Sainz overtook us before, because I knew we could stick with him, because now around here, lap 6, this is when the soft tyres will start to wear out and where we have the advantage on the medium. So now it's a case of, can Behrman do anything on Sainz before his tyres wear out too much? Well, I think that's going to be the case on to lap 7. Let's just watch on and see if Behrman can get up into 2nd place. And this will make it a pretty damn awesome 1-2 in the sprint. Behrman with ease is by, and it is now 1-2 for Aarava Archer Racing. Puff of smoke behind with a lock-up from, I think, the Ferrari. That was under pressure from Sonoda. And so now Behrman comes chasing after us, and we are going to actually let him by, wave him by, because right now he needs to use the softs before they go off. I know I have the tyre to push on later, and so we're going to focus on the action a little bit further down the road now, as Sainz is falling away. We've seen this many times with Mercedes, where they've got great pace initially, but then they really fall off, whereas Ferrari actually is the opposite sometimes, and they've gained pace later on in stints. And so Ocon is up to 3rd, Sainz now in P4, and maybe looking in his mirrors for Sonoda. As we go on to the last lap now, we've been giving Behrman room to breathe, and both of us have pulled away by 3 seconds, but now is the time to attack our teammate, just like we were doing in the early part of the season. It's time for a duel in the desert, side by side, for old time's sake, with Ollie Behrman as Tim Tramnitz, and Behrman again commits, this time on the outside, just as he was doing so many times in the early part of the season with us. It's oh so close, and we can't quite get the move finish and have to stick behind in 2nd place. But this last lap, that's reminiscent of what we saw with those 5 wins in a row. It's lovely to rekindle some of that vibe, some of that aura that we had in the early part here in Qatar. The car is working a treat, and it was the best decision to let Behrman by the way, because that gap of 3 seconds has allowed us to now relax, enjoy this last lap, and more importantly, have free reign and no one else affecting this fight to try and get Behrman, you know, just for one last time. Can we try and pull the wool over the more senior, more higher rated driver's eyes here, driving as Tramnitz, the champion to be, one last time. Dive down the inside. It's the final corner. Get the elbow out. Power, and to the line. It is going to be the sprint win, and is going to be Tim Tramnitz crowned as the Drivers' World Champion. We've done it. We have made an F3 driver icon in F1 25 a world champion.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion.
There we have it. It is a 1-2 in the race that seals the deal. And I think it's quite nice. It's the same 1-2 that is leading the standings, 1-2 as well. It was a great race by Behrman. He recovered from P7 to P2, just showing the car really did have some excellent pace. And that sprint pole wasn't a bit of a fluke. We had that genuine pace there. It's just a case of, in sprint quali, we've seen a few times the AI not really maximizing their potential in the sprint quali, because just like in real life, it is a bit more chaotic to get the job done, with the pressure of only having really 1 or 2 at maximum flying laps to get the job done. But there we have it. The German is the world champion. I really didn't think the season and the series was going to go in this direction. I really was convinced at the start of the series that by about season 2, we weren't going to have any of the F3 icons involved in our team. But you guys, you know, really bought into the storytelling and the lore we were building. You guys really showed me in the comments how much you were liking Tramnitz as a driver in our team. And it was obvious that it was more of a fan favorite story to continue with him and see how far we can take it. And we've taken him to now, we've grown him to what, like 77 rated maybe, or 76 rated driver. Probably should be more, to be honest, based off his performances as an AI, not even just with me. But and now we've secured him a world championship. That is crazy stuff. As now there's no time to rest. We go on to the full qualifying. Verstappen actually gets a bit of a cheeky toe, but I like to think here this is quite a nice little moment as we slow down for each other. That's the 5-time world champion, of course, in this alternate F1 universe of ours, him having won in season 1 of the series. Congratulating the new world champion there as they went side by side momentarily at the end of that lap, and we are able to secure a place alongside Max Verstappen on the front row, showing the car genuinely does have pace. Behrman's up there as well, so there you have it. Behrman as an AI is right up there, so the car just is working really well around Qatar, and I'm so glad. Can you imagine if this was one of those races where we had to limp home in like P8 or 7 or 4-5 to get the championship? It wouldn't be as nice. I think it's going to be really special to be able to, well, we've already crowned Tramnitz the champion with a race win. Can we now seal out the Constructors' Championship with, well, you know, a win would be nice, but a podium as well, because remember, it's a full race. Tyre wear is going to be a major factor for us now, so I'm not as confident about going for the win because of the tyre wear, but if we could get a podium to seal out the Constructors, I would very much like that. Let's go to the grid for the full Qatar Grand Prix.
Welcome back to Qatar. There was talk of a new circuit, but we're back here once again at Losail, under the lights. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Tim Tramnitz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Behrman, Leclerc, Lando Norris and Ocon, Stroll, Sainz, Tsunoda and Liam Lawson, Aaron, Piastri, Franco Colapinto and Antonelli, Pepe Marti, Doohan, Zay Maloney and Alex Albon, Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Gasly and Gabriel Bortoleto completes the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
It's an all-champion front row. Max Verstappen, one of the best to do it in recent years, and the latest world champion etched into the tapestry of Formula One history. Behrman alongside, just behind in P3. Hopefully, we're about to etch the entire team's name into Formula One history. Aarava Archer Racing going for this 2027 F1 World Championship. It is inside of this game. Season 3 of F1 25. My Team Career Mode has all been building to this from episode 1 to episode 46. 46 episodes in the making to go from 0 to hopefully hero today as we prepare ourselves and rev up for 5 little red lights for one last time, maybe for the championship. Lights out and we're underway. It's a real great start from Verstappen. We got caught napping there a little bit with the lights going out. We're able to dive bomb into turn 1. Verstappen's gone wide. He's opened up the door a bit and he's invited us in. We'll go around the outside, take a leaf out of Ollie Behrman's book in the sprint and learn from our AI teammate and make the move for first place. Behrman goes for second nearly. Behrman nearly made it. An early 1-2 on lap 1. Couldn't quite do it. He's in third place though. Leclerc's P4, which is quite nice. So remember, Leclerc was the reigning champion into this season. He's still got the number 1 in his car right now as it stands. It's quite nice to have him up here as well then. So 3 different world champions in the top 4. Verstappen has got us for P1, you would have seen in that sector 3, but it's no qualm. We will be able to stick with him at this early stage of this stint and try and come back at him. The worry is what happens when the tyre wear starts to set in, as Behrman actually closes up to me a little bit more than I close up to Verstappen there. So Behrman maybe wanting to snap at our heels and give us a bit of a headache, as it's Tsunoda round the outside of Lance Stroll behind as the Williams gets up into P8. And speaking of the tyres, Tsunoda's on the soft, so he's going for a very different strategy, as are we as well, because I think I'm going to commit to the early 2-stop. Because in recent history on the F1 game, if you commit early enough to the 2-stop, it can pay you massive dividends around Qatar. And that's what I want to do, knowing how bad this car has been on tyre wear at the end of stints. I mean, we've had 2 different races where we've had punches. In a race where we're trying to get the Constructors' Championship, I want to play this safe and not leave it to chance or a miracle drive from last place after said punches. So here we go, though, on Verstappen, the move for first place. Verstappen will come back at us. It's the fight for the ages. We've seen a few fights between Tramnitz and Verstappen, and we're going to have another great one on lap 3 there. You saw the tail wagging away as we drifted our way through the corner exit to maintain first place. Leclerc's now overtaking Behrman, showing the McLaren and Leclerc have some pace to show as well. At this stage, we're looking quick, but I just know at the end of the stint, we're going to be hurting a little bit. So I want to commit to the 2-stop, which is going to be around lap 10 for the first pit stop. And because of the sprint race, the allocation I chose, I've actually got another new medium tyre to use. So as we defend Verstappen once again with a bit of a squeeze out, I know I can go medium, soft, which I think is a really great 2-stop strategy. What the others do remains a mystery, as Verstappen looks a bit slow there. He is slow. Oh, there's a massive crash, and Verstappen has crashed out, and Behrman has been caught up in it. Max Verstappen is out of the Qatar Grand Prix 2 races in a row. He's crashed with Behrman, and there's a 10-second penalty for Ocon, for Behrman, I think because of the yellow flags, because this safety car is out, but Behrman's got front wing damage, and he's coming in. Oh, that's going to be a little bit frustrating to see, because Behrman now is going to be all the way down to last place. It's going to be down to me driving as Tramnitz to get this Constructors over the line, but what on earth happened? It was a spectacular crash. Verstappen almost got airborne a little bit there. Let's see what happened. So he was actually retiring with an engine issue, and oh, it was Leclerc. Leclerc broke Verstappen's suspension and tyre as he was retiring with an engine failure, and then that caused a spectacular moment with Behrman as the Red Bull launched itself over Behrman's front wing. Okay, wow, this race has taken a sharp turn. We're now on lap 6, safety cars coming in, and this time I won't be making the mistake of going too slow and accidentally causing a red flag, but we are still on for a 2-stop, I think, but now we're going to have to go a little bit longer into the race to make this stint worthwhile and to try and get a bit of a gap going, because we need to try and build gaps in every stint before that last pit stop. Behrman, by the way, is now last place in this race under safety car, so he is effectively on a 2-stop as well. He's just already made that first pit stop, so let's see if Behrman can recover in this race, as this time, no funny business, no red flag, and we absolutely nail the restart. That might be one of my best restarts ever on the F1 game from a safety car, as Leclerc caught napping. He's nearly a second back, and now Ocon has overtaken him. Remember, Ocon's got a 10-second penalty. He's not served it yet because he's not pit. Behrman has served his 10-second penalty, I believe. I think in the F1 game he can serve it under the safety car, but Ocon still has a 10-second penalty, and he's just overtaken Leclerc. So that's going to be massively frustrating for Leclerc and for everyone chasing, because Ocon's not really in the fight. and yet he's there causing them issues with dirty air as we now focus on board with Behrman, our AI teammate, on the outside of Bortoletto. A little bit frosty there as the two of them bang tyres, but Behrman gets up one position to P20. He's on the soft, so he's definitely doing a second stop then, Behrman is. So it looks like he's going to have to go, well, he's been forced into medium soft. I would suspect hard or maybe a medium, depending on how long he can go on the soft compound tyre. But look at this, lap 8, Leclerc, he is now nearly 3 seconds, or he is 3 seconds back from myself as Tramnitz, because Ocon is holding him up that much, as there's plenty of fighting going on down the field as it's Stroll versus Norris, and Norris has just been done by the Canadian. He's down to 9th place, and Aaron versus Colapinto in the Williams v Aston Martin Honda fight. Leclerc now on board with him, lap 10. Can he finally get by Ocon, who's been annoying him to no end? No, look at that, he's drifting, he's losing grip in the dirty air, and that is the best illustration of how we're able to pull away from Leclerc right now. That dirty air is horrible in Sector 2 especially, and so it's just giving us breathing room to try and build this gap. We've not built it that much though, it's only 3 seconds, I say only, that it seems quite big, but we need more with the 2-stop to work, but my tyres have obviously been wearing out, and now lap 12 was when I decided to come in. So we were going to pit lap 10, I've come in lap 12, so we've extended by 2 laps. That kind of accounts for the 2 laps in my mind that we did under the safety car, essentially. So we're coming in for another new set of mediums, and we need to go like the clappers on this set. But
removing the left rear wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put it behind us and finish the race strong.
Okay, come on, guys. Come on. Constructors' Championship on the line. We can't be making mistakes like that. It's going to be a slow pit stop, and so we've got a little bit more work to do. Essentially, that's kind of eroded 2 seconds of the 3-second gap I had on Leclerc. We're now going to have to see how we go with the undercut, basically, as we've got some overtaking to do as well, as Tsunoda has also pit early. He's on the soft tyre now, again, so he went soft, so very peculiar strategy, I must say, for Williams and the Japanese driver today around Qatar, as we gain now with DRS onto lap 14, and now we've got in our sights Maloney and Bortoletto coming up as we're setting purples. We're nearly pushing the BMW through the last corner as Maloney now comes in. Bortoletto next up. We've got some pit stops for Stroll, Albon, Piastri, Sainz, Behrman yet to pit again. Leclerc's come in, so he's now 5 seconds back from us. So we've done well on the undercut. We get Bortoletto, and we're now into 2nd place, and crucially, clean air, because the next car along is Behrman. He's out of sync of everyone in this Grand Prix, having made that safety car pit stop. But he leads the way. It is a 1-2 for the team. But on lap 15, the pit stop for Behrman is surely going to come soon. But our job now, we're a net P1. We've just got to push and use the fact we've got mediums versus Leclerc's hards and try and build the biggest gap we can to allow this 2-stop to work today, as we keep pumping in faster slaps. Even with like a purple middle and yellow first, we're still making it work. Behrman's now in, so we are into 1st place proper on the road. Behrman comes out outside of the points, P11, but lap 20, 9 laps to go. Behrman on a new set, I hope, of medium tyres, that is, and he's trying to go around the outside of Norris to carve his way into the top 10 for the first time. And this is for proper position, because all these cars ahead of him, they're not pitting again. So Behrman is legitimately recovering from last place after that crash into the points and doing his bit to help us in the constructors fight, of course, because every point is going to count. Both Ferraris are in the points, so we need Behrman to score a couple, just for comfort's sake. I don't know what the actual maths is. Maybe if we win the race with Tramnitz, we could still mathematically win it, even if Behrman was out the points, but I'm just hoping to try and get the maximum so Behrman being in the points, I'll never say no to that. But we're now in lap 21, 8 laps to go, or 7 by the time we come out. No mistake this time on fresh softs, and now we just have to go like a stabbed rat on these softs, qualifying laps every single lap to try and make up, as meanwhile Behrman making a move on Colapinto as we come out the pits. I cannot believe the timing of that, as we basically watch Behrman with a bucket of popcorn make the overtake there on Colapinto, getting up into P7 legitimately. There is the wear on the soft, so this was probably a soft we used earlier in qualifying or just around the race weekend in practice, so it's not a fresh soft tyre, but it's still going to be so much quicker. Then remember, some of these guys are on hard, so 2 steps softer we have got on our car, so we should be a lot quicker as we now close up to Behrman with a bit of a twitch of oversteer there. He's on the back of Ocon. Can we make the double pass here? Behrman goes to the right. We're going to go to the left of the Ferrari, stick to the left and go round the outside. Behrman will put up a little bit of a fight, but not too much as we get up into P6, and now finding ourselves diving down the inside of Albon for P5, and soon getting onto the back of Oscar Piastri as we are pumping in purple lap times after purple lap times as we try and at least minimum get back on the podium with this 2-stop. Meanwhile behind, it feels like deja vu here as Piastri again is pretty slow on the main straight and again gets passed by multiple cars. Behrman now up into P6, looking on the back of Albon. I think if he gets P5 and beats both Ferraris, that's job well done for Ollie Behrman as an AI. From last place to beating both Ferraris, the nearest team to us in the Constructors' Championship, that's a really job well done in my eyes as we overtake Lawson to get up into 3rd place now, and Behrman behind cruises up into P5 ahead of that 2nd Ferrari. It's all eyes on us now. Can we round this out with a fantastic victory? It's going to take a lot though, because there is a sizable gap to Leclerc. We're going to try our best, but I think at this point we have done all we can to seal out this Constructors. We get Carlos Sainz and we now come to the last lap of the Qatar Grand Prix, driving as the new world champion Tim Tramnitz, trying to chase after the outgoing previous world champion from season 2, Charles Leclerc, in P1, to see if we can get this poetic full Grand Prix win to seal out the Constructors. I think it's going to be very, very tough, but it won't matter. It will not matter, because as it stands, we've done enough. Behrman has done enough as an AI teammate, and we are going to collect that 2nd trophy. It's going to be the Constructors World Championship for aarava Archer Racing. It has taken 46 episodes in the making from absolutely nothing, the lowest settings in this My Team. It's been a true thoroughbred road to glory, and we have successfully climbed the mountain, and we have got both World Championships here in Season 3, but we're trying to cap it off. We're pushing so hard. We're down to like 0% battery. It's just not going to be enough, but we gave it a good go. We had a lot of fun in this race, a lot of fun overtaking cars. The outgoing World Champion is going to nod to the incoming, now new reigning World Champion behind him in 2nd place, but we have taken the championship in the Constructors for this team. 3 seasons in the making. We've done it. We've done it. Oh.
The man from Monaco will win again. Charles Leclerc takes the checkered flag.
Well, it all came good in the end for them, but it wasn't an easy start. Not the most straightforward of days, but I think it shows great strength in an athlete as a driver when you can overcome a day like this and walk away still with a victory.
I'm a little bit surprised there was no cutscene for, our team celebrating in the garage for the World Championship, the Constructors. That would have been nice to see. I know it can trigger when you win the driver's title in a full Grand Prix. I guess because we won the title in the sprint with Tramnitz, that cutscene doesn't trigger just for winning the Constructors, which is a bit of a shame, because I think, obviously My Team, that's, kind of part and parcel is the other big part of it is winning the Constructors, not just one of the Drivers' Champions, being crowned. But either way, we have done it. 46 episodes in the making. The road to glory with Aarava Archer Racing is complete. Guys, if you have enjoyed this one, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Don't go anywhere, of course, in this series, because next time out, we round out this season with the final race. It's a race just to have some fun, and I guess a bit of a victory lap for this team being the new reigning champions. Till then, hope you enjoy today. Goodbye.